scale releases. People really enjoyed the closely coupled interactions. Like a lot of people, their favorite moment in the game was playing ball with Dog, and this idea that you have this other creature in the world who's interacting with you in this fine-grained way, where you're doing something and they're reacting to it right there. And so that's something we.
Why does it look like they're in like a fucking abandoned warehouse or some shit?
We need to do a lot more of that. We need to make the player feel like they can rely on and they're dependent upon other people in the game, and not in some high-level storytelling way, but in an actual, I need you to do something for me right now. And so there's a lot of stuff where you can't do anything, you're relying on Alex to do it for you, and what you can do is get her to do stuff for you. So you're feeling like the two of you are working closely together.
That's really interesting, because that's, at least in terms of console games, that's almost the opposite of the paradigm, where you have a helpless sort of female console, that you're guiding through things. And Resident Evil 4 was one of the more recent things to add that. Prince of Persia did.
You don't want to have the sense that there's a box around the NPC, and you see these boxes bumping into each other. You want to have a sense that they're in the world, interacting with things closely. Like they can reach out to stuff, they can push things to the ground, they can kick things, stuff like that, and have it not be that sort of fakey box interaction. There's this technology that was really exciting that I'd like to see us get into production, which is a different approach to rendering complexity, moving things into and out of an image domain, and then seamlessly interpolating between those motions as you move around. So everything close to you is physical and is geometry, and everything really far away
when does
from
he start
you is
talking
an
shit about the
image
PS3
that
though?
You have no way of telling that if you do it properly, and things can fly out and come back. So as far as you're concerned, it all feels like world to you.
Bro, this looks
but as
so
far as your
old.
rendering is concerned, you're keeping your polygon budgets and your shader budgets and your fill rates under control. We're focusing on things that have more obvious gameplay significance, like NPCs and vehicles and stuff like that earlier, because it's always good to do gameplay stuff. But I would like us to come back to that. I'd love to be able to put people down into cities where they can navigate the entire city and have them feel like, my God, there's a huge amount of stuff going on around me, and I can walk, anything I can see, I can walk over, and in the background, that stuff is going from being essentially a skybox to sort of a low-res version of geometry to a high-res version of geometry as I get closer to it. What do you think of Lost Coast?
It looks great. I mean, you can tell the difference in 2 seconds. And actually, I was just, when I was playing on a DoD source between a non-HDR machine and an HDR machine, it looked really good. You can tell the difference in like a second.
Good.
And the director's sort of like documentary notes and stuff, it's a great idea.
Great.
Incorporate that into more games. I think.
Well, hopefully that'll be like a standard feature of all of our stuff now.
Right.
That's the thing, is we like being able to get stuff out to people, like HDR. We can solve all the technical problems, get it out, make sure it works with everybody's display adapters, and then DoD takes advantage of it right away. So rather than waiting until Half-Life 3 ships for
Waiting until Half-Life 3 ships. Good fucking meme. Jesus Christ, man. That's actually kind of funny.
our multiplayer games to get a feature like HDR, we can do it in Lost Coast, and then DoD sort of picks it up right away. So it's HDR now, and maybe this image-based rendering stuff later, that it does make it possible for us to do that. The thing that we don't understand that's going to be really interesting is it's like the entire industry has been making feature films, right? And the door is starting to open for, you know, TV shows, right? And TV shows are totally different than movies in terms of the people who are good at it and how you structure them. And, you know, in movies, it's directors that are preeminent. In TV shows, it's the head writer, the showrunner is preeminent. I think we'll all be learning a lot. You know, it's like, do we need to release 22 times a year? You know, does it need to be a TV show? You know, is it once a week is the sort of the important frequency of releasing? Or is once a quarter okay, you know?
I just want to know when he talks shit about the PS3, bro. Like, I'm not tripping.
There were two sort of big sort of
It says Gabe Newell talks trash, PlayStation 3 Part 1.
When it went from being optional to being the way that everybody needed to get updates. And that was pretty painful for people. And then the Half-Life 2 launch where we got swamped with not having enough capacity. So those are both painful memories for
Ooh,
for
Diet
us. And
Pepsi,
at least
man.
right now we're not setting anybody on fire.
Wings approves.
We seem to be getting updates out on a really regular basis. We seem to have that process really smooth right now. Right now we're sort of re-architecting Steam, so people are actually running two versions of Steam right now. They may not realize that they're running Steam 2 and 3 alongside of each other. The nice thing about having a system like this is that there's no reason not to have your old system and your new system coexist while you're migrating functionality from. One of the problems that we had were there were architectural problems that made Friends unreliable, and so the new version of Steam, its approach to connections and how it manages connections should make Friends a lot more reliable. So, you know, just from a technical perspective, it's evolving, and from a not annoying the hell out of our customer perspective, I think we're out of that hole. You know, it certainly turned out to be a great way to sell products, right? I mean, we were worried that people wouldn't want to purchase products that way, and now that's not really a concern of ours.
They're under us. Target.
The next gen headache. Okay, yeah.
I think what we have to do is continue to look for ways to make Steam more valuable to people, right? To solve problems for people. You know, there are huge numbers of support problems that we can just make go away by proactively solving them, but we still aren't, you know, getting display drivers out to people automatically, you know, which makes me crazy. It's like one of the biggest problems our customers have is the fact that they don't have an automatic update facility for display drivers. And it's been obvious, you know, for a couple of years that needs to happen, and, you know, yet we still don't have that.
Well, is Microsoft trying to address that with Longhorn? I mean,
Great.
have they talked to you about this? I figure they'd probably be talking to the developers.
Steam is the future. They were right.
You know, I'd be more likely to be excited about NVIDIA or ATI saying that they were going to have solutions than expecting that one wave a fairy wand over anything. I mean, they keep cutting and cutting and cutting, and I think expectations for sales of Longhorn are getting less and less. So, but that's an example of something that would clearly be valuable to customers, would solve problems for our customers. It would globally reduce everybody's support burden, and yet we haven't done it yet. Like, I had a conversation with some people at Microsoft recently, and I said, I cannot point to a single feature in Longhorn that I care about, right? There's nothing in Longhorn at all that solves any problems for us at all. You know, and I had the same conversation with the Xbox 360 guys. It's like, it's like the Xbox 360 doesn't make the any better, and in fact, it makes it a lot worse, and you're telling me that a hard drive. And when I look at what I need to compete with, right, the most interesting game property right now is World of Warcraft. Huge retail sales and huge recurring revenue. And not only that, but they have a great experience wrapped around it, whether it's their forums or community art or whatever, they're not only getting their customers to play the game, they're getting their customers to make the experience more valuable for other people who play the game. So I'll go up and download music and watch the movies that people have created and see fan art and do all these other things. So I look at like sort of what a platform needs to help a software developer do right now, it's figure out how to beat World of Warcraft. And when I look at the strategies that are being put forward by Microsoft on the system side or on the Xbox side or Sony or Nintendo, they're not making my life easier. Like the PlayStation 3 makes my life as a software developer much harder. All of a sudden I'm supposed to figure out how to have this asymmetrical, multi-threaded game, right? And I've never written a single line of multi-threaded code ever, right? It's not like I was like lying awake saying, I need to re-architect every line of
Dude, this video is like a fucking time capsule. It's kind of funny.
code I've ever written in order to get it to work. So one of my junior programmers who's writing game code rather than system code could slow things down by, in a real world case, by a factor of 80 because they're doing something out in the AI or in the game DLL, which used to be totally safe, and now all of a sudden the whole system just slows down. And then one of the really experienced programmers have to go in and say, oh, you can't tell that you're doing this, you ran out of registry space and this other thing happened, and no, there's no debugger that shows this to you. And writing for SPEs and writing in a PlayStation 3 environment, it's like there are incredibly few programmers who can safely write code in that environment. You make tiny little changes to code running on one of the SPEs and the entire thing will grind to a halt. And you have no visibility into why that's happening. It's just sort of magically running really, really slow. And it's also incredibly hard to architect things at the beginning so that you can distribute all of your functionality on all of these different processing units. This was not a problem that we were lying awake late at night saying, oh, we would really like to take this on right now. You know, we were worried about little things like billing and forums and wikis and things like that, right? I totally see why Sony wants people to write code that runs on 7 SPEs and a central processing unit, because that code's never going to run well anywhere else, right? They're saying, you know, make your code not run on anything other than one of ours, and we're betting that we'll have market share that's so high that everybody will have to write code for our platform.
Yo, that's pretty shit. So Sony made their architecture intentionally hard to develop for, so that way developers wouldn't bother putting their games on any other fucking platform. Jesus Christ, man.
And
That's how fucking cocky Sony was with the PS3.
other people will just, you know, will just starve the air from the other platforms by absorbing everybody's R&D budget. Steam essentially was like, here are a set of tools
That's pretty
that
shit,
software
man.
developers need. Focus
That's pretty fucking shit.
on solving the problems that we have with these next generation games. You know, billing, updates, product support, connecting our customers together and things like that. I would think that for a lot of developers, things like Steam are going to be...
And now, as a result, nobody can play PS3 games on any other platform. RIP, man. Sony could have been banking off of all that backwards compatible revenue, but nope.
more interesting and solve more problems to them than this next generation of hardware and operating systems platforms. So, you know, the Saturn came out, and that was intended to take this previous generation of games and create this super complicated chunk of
Oh yeah, I agree. The PS4 was better than the Xbox One.
hardware that would help you make the ultimate sprite-oriented
The
game.
Xbox One was a pretty
And
shit
Sony came
console.
along and said, no, it's not a sprite problem anymore, it's a 3D graphics problem. I think that a lot of developers are going to say, you know, that's not the problem. That's another Sega Saturn. You know, problems with making our, you know, how do we connect to our customers, get data from our customers, get updates to our customers, have closer relationships? How do we compete with the customer experience that you get out of being a WoW customer more than how do we, you know, blast another set of pixels at what is essentially a 640 by 480 screen.
This will probably be the last thing for tonight.
Shit about.
Cole starts to lose right off the bat. Alright, so let me read these super chats real quick. So, for Kinsey with the 2, snack room would have me living in the office. Yo, facts. If I mean, that's pretty lit though. I don't know. I like it when companies do stuff like that. It's like the little things that make a big difference. And D27 SHG with a 10. Hey, it's been a while. I missed you. I got a PS4 and Halo Infinite is super fun. Also, could you watch a video I made? Yeah, put it in the chat and then I'll pull it up. I don't know if we'll do it tonight, but definitely in the future. Psychic Mario with the 2. Valve's games just hit different. Agreed, man.
Gaming.
Like, Portal 2 is one of my favorite games ever. I fucking love Portal 2. It's one of the most unique, interesting, just fun games to play. I don't know. Portal 2 is amazing in my opinion.
One you don't fucking know.
Dude, let me tell you something. Like you don't talk shit about other people.
This is the same guy who 2 nights ago I said I was gonna save your ass. I was gonna send you.
Dude, if you ain't gonna save my ass, then don't save
out of my
it.
own fucking pocket because I
Fuck.
like the radio show. And you go on the show, and
You
talk
a
shit
one
about me
hippo.
like, oh,
You a one hypocrite
shut
ass
the
dude.
fuck up and you listen.
You shut the fuck up and let me explain.
Fat
First
ass
of all, you a
300
fucking
pound
hypocrite.
fucking blob.
So you have no
Fucking
problem.
shit.
You have no
Like,
problem
you know me.
talking about my
I'm gonna
shit.
whoop your fucking ass.
Oh, really? You gonna whip my fucking ass? Oh, I wanna see that shit. Yeah, whatever, dude. Punk ass bitch.
Our reserves depleting. How satisfying.
Don't choke on the fucking cock. I ain't fucking hung up on you. What the fuck? Oh, so the dude was fucking lie and say I hung up. I didn't hung up shit. I can't believe that shit. What the fuck? He trying to say I hung up on his ass. I didn't hung up on nothing.
Frenzy.
Alright, whatever, dude. Whatever. Cover me. Whatever. Dude,
Skeletor.
the fucking dude. The dude hung up. I did not fucking hang up on the dude. I was in the middle of the fucking goddamn sentence.
There.
Alright, fucking man, the fucking radio show is up and running. 425-738-6216.
Nearing victory.
Apparently GSP said he's gonna whoop my fucking ass. Dude, I want him to try. Damn, I do. He don't know. He fucking wrong with the wrong nigga. That's the thing. They think that all niggas the same. Dude, I don't weigh 90 pounds. I'm not now so fucking 90-pound gangster from Houston, Texas. You don't know who the fuck you're dealing with.
Phil calls back. Let's skip to this.
What the fuck is this?
Let me tell you something. You fucking hang up on me when I'm on the radio.
I didn't fucking hang up on you. Shut your damn mouth.
I'm gonna kick you in the ass so hard you're gonna taste shit for a week. It's gonna chop off
Really?
your fucking
Really?
head and shit through your fucking neck.
What the fuck?
That's all you do is fucking talk. Dude, I would dare you to throw a fucking punch at me. Dude, it will be the last
5
fucking
minutes
thing you ever
remaining.
do. You better fucking recognize I am not fucking Skeletor G. I am not so E-thuggin' G that you can fucking talk shit to. Anytime you wanna fucking get down, we'll get down. We'll bang. I'll bring the fucking heat on your ass. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. You don't know who the fuck you dealing with.
They hang.
That's all there is to it, dude. Whenever you want to fucking throw down, you'll throw down. But it's only
Go throw down, throw
you
your
hit. It's me hitting you and you hitting the fucking ground and busting your teeth out. That is always gonna fucking happen. Then I'm gonna fucking take a shit on your chest. just for fucking insulting purposes.